Look, there it is. Do you see it? Surfacing right over there. The fish. It's not right. That can't be. It's not natural. Do you see what I'm seeing? Its face. That fish has a human face. The shouts are constant down at the pier. People gawking at that fish with the human face as it swims around my boat. People trying to snap selfies with the damn fish. Kids pointing, babies crying. It's a whole ordeal. Crowd of them gather every day to look at that damn fish. They call it a freak of nature, and they're right. It's a goddamn tourist attraction in the town of Mononic. That's what it's become. And I'm the one responsible for it. I wish it never happened. I wish I can go back in time and undo what's been done. It wasn't supposed to be this way. But it is, and now the mayor says the fish is good for business, so there better be a fish in the water with a damn face on it. Mayor says if there ain't no fish in the waters, he's revoking my fishing permit. And fishing's all I got. Without it, I won't be able to keep food on the table. So let me tell you about this fish with a human face. It all started like this. It's 4 a.m. and I'm ready on my ship as usual, ready to go out 100 miles for my daily catch. I'm the captain of the Sea Princess. It's a fine boat. I can run it alone, but when I'm trying to get my fish quota, I always have a crew. In fact, I'm on the boat by 3 a.m. every morning. All I need to do is light my tobacco pipe and I'm ready to go. But I gotta waste an hour of my damn time waiting on those sleepy sons of bitches, Lanny Forrester and Ace McWoggins. They're my crew. At least they were before this madness started. Like I said, I'm on the Sea Princess waiting for my crew that morning in May. The moon was high in the sky, shining brightly off the dark ocean waters, waiting on that golden sun to dawn, just like I was waiting on Lanny and Ace. Well, turns out the two of them went drinking the night before. They got good and shit-faced. Lanny didn't even bother showing up for work, but Ace rolled in a good 20 minutes past 4 a.m., stinking like a brewery. The man could barely keep himself upright, still slurring his words, too. I made extra coffee for Ace and we rolled out about 4:30. I was not happy we were getting out so late, and I chewed Ace out for being a drunk. I knew the competition would already have the jump on us, and I didn't think we'd bring in the haul I needed to pay the bills. About a mile offshore, the wind picked up, howling across the open ocean, sending spray across the deck. The waters got choppy. It wasn't nothing I couldn't handle, but I did have to stick to navigation. That meant Ace needed to be the one preparing the fishing gear. Given his squatty stature and his petite hands, he always struggled with the gear, even when Lanny was there to help him. I'm steering and watching him slip on the deck as he's trying to tie knots. The guy was a wreck. He is all sweaty and weak. His hands are shaking and his face is turning green as we rock on the water, tossing this way and that, the ocean spraying his face. It all got to be too much for him and he starts puking his brains out on my boat, right there on the deck. He couldn't even get himself over the edge and puke into the water, that son of a bitch. So I get out from behind my controls and confront him. I really laid into him. I screamed at him that he was a good-for-nothing drunk and I think it's time I get a different crew. My anger really boiled over. Problem was, Ace and Lanny knew finding fishermen weren't easy. They knew it would take months to replace them, and by then, the fishing season would be over. So they abused their position, showed up late and whatnot. As Ace is clutching his knees, trying to recover from his alcohol-induced seasickness, I stand right over him, screaming at him to do his job properly or I'm going to throw his ass off the boat. They were fighting words. I had had enough of this nonsense. In my opinion, you either come ready to fish or you stay home. I'm not paying you to nurse a hangover. My yelling was all too much for Ace. He grabbed a fillet knife that was on the table we used to gut fish. He got nose to nose with me, holding that knife up, threatening me. Well, it wasn't quite nose to nose since I'm a head taller than Ace. It was more like forehead to chin. But he cranks his neck up, looking at me dead in the eyes, holding that knife. He says it's about time I lay off of him. He says, "You want to throw me off this boat? Well, maybe I'll just throw you off the boat instead. What do you think of that?" he says. He made thrusting motions with the knife, making me take a step back. He says if I like those damn fish so much, well, maybe he'll make me one of them. Skin me like we skin those fish, and sew my face right onto one of them, throw me back in the ocean. He came right at me with the knife. There was nothing I can do but defend myself. We screamed and wrestled as the water sprayed our face. The ocean waves made us lose our balance and we fought for footing. He slashed me a good couple times through my waders before I was able to tackle him. We fell right into the catch we just hauled in, getting slimy fish goo all over us. The fish that were still alive jumped and flipped over us, slapping us both in the face. I was able to get that knife out of his hand and I grabbed it and held it up to his throat. I screamed at him. I said, "Putting his dirty, rotten face on a fish? That sure sounded like a good idea." I said, "You like to drink? Well, guess what? You can drink all you want in the ocean." In that moment of madness, I became another person. Insanity took over. I knifed Ace in the belly repeatedly, his blood flowing amongst the fish. Then I did just what he said he'd do to me. I skinned his face. I sewed it onto one of them flopping fish, stretched it right over those damn fish eyeballs, lining up his mouth and everything. The sight made me laugh. I said, "Go have a drink, you son of a bitch." Then I threw that fish with his face on it overboard. Next, I threw in his faceless corpse, figuring it would be good bait. And here's the thing, that fish with Ace's face on it, it followed me all the way back to the pier. I didn't know it until some kid on land screams, "Mommy, there's a fish with a face!" People heard him and a crowd came by and checked it out. I tried to distract them. I told them what they're seeing wasn't what they were seeing. I said they're not seeing a dogfish with a human face, stubble and all, swimming around my boat. So that's how it all started. That's how that fish got that human face on it. The next day on the water, Lanny was with me. I made up a story about Ace. I said he quit yesterday. I kept an eye out for that fish with his face on it, but I didn't see anything. But it was there again when I returned to the pier with the day's catch. It was there, circling my boat like a seagull. Lanny looked at the fish all crooked. He said it was the damnedest thing he ever saw. He said that face looks familiar too. He said, "You know, if I squint, it looks like Ace." I told him it must be like a cloud. I said, "Your mind's playing tricks, making you see what you want to see." That seemed to satisfy him, though he still looked at that fish real uneasy. There were more people at that pier the second day. The word spread quick. Half the damn town was there to see that fish with the human face. The mayor was there too. He saw all those people buying ice cream and fried chicken and sitting and watching that fish circle my boat. His eyes went to dollar signs and his re-election. That third day was the same. Fish with Ace's face circling my boat when I docked. A massive crowd of people staring and taking photos and video. I had enough of this spectacle. At some point I thought, someone's gonna figure out whose face is on that fish. I needed to get rid of the damn thing. I stayed on the boat till nightfall, until all the gawkers went away. Then I grabbed my rod and I fished until I caught that damn fish with Ace's face. I laughed when I pulled it on board. My hook sunk deep into Ace's mouth, piercing his cheek. His mouth opened and closed, gasping out of the water. I said, "How's that drink treating you, Ace?" His little fish eyes stared at me as he slowly suffocated and died in that cool nighttime air. After his final flop on my deck, I chopped that fish into pieces, Ace's face included, and put it in my chum bucket. The next day, Lanny and me took in a record haul. Must have been my secret chum, I thought. But the problems came when we got back to the pier. There was no fish with a face on it. The crowd was massive that day, but when they found out there was no fish, they all dissipated. No ice cream, no fried chicken. The mayor was furious at me. He said, "What the hell happened to my goddamn fish?" I said, "It wasn't my fish, it was just in the water." He said, "Yeah, but it circled your boat." He said, "I'm the damn fisherman, you figure it out. Bring back that fish." The next day, I did what the mayor asked. I got him a new fish with a new face. Lanny's face. I didn't want to kill Lanny. He was a bit clumsy, sure, and yeah, he got drunk sometimes like Ace did, but I liked him. It's just, I couldn't get my fishing license revoked. So I did him just like I did Ace, stabbed him, skinned his face off, and sewed it onto a dogfish. The mayor had his spectacle and things were good. Except, I could tell that fish wasn't doing too well. The others didn't notice, but I could tell. I don't think that fish was gonna last too long. It was wounded. I could see I messed up where I did the stitching, and that fish don't have long to live. I can't get my fishing license revoked, I just can't. So, I'm advertising for a new crew. I've got a couple of leads. I think they got just the face for fishing.